Genshin Impact was a cultural phenomenon that exploded onto the scene in 2020, and it brought gacha gaming into the mainstream in a way no other game before it ever came close to doing. I remember at the time, I was playing Epic 7 a lot, and I see this game coming out everyone's calling a Zelda clone, but I remember thinking, this actually looks pretty crazy, and before I knew it, everyone and their mother was playing Genshin. I really wanted to like Genshin Impact. I want to like Genshin Impact, but I just can't. What's up guys, I'm d-cell, and today I want to do a deep dive into what is keeping me from enjoying one of, if not the most popular game in the gacha market. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos from me in the future. Now, back to the video. To understand what stops me from enjoying Genshin Impact, we've got to go to the beginning. Years ago, I was an avid Epic 7 player until I see this game Genshin Impact coming out. I latch onto it and immediately love it. I'm playing it, I love Mondstadt, Liyue, I main Razor, I'm enjoying it. Razor was a lot of fun. And then I saw Eula. And Eula became my new main. I was enjoying the game, but eventually the fun just dissipated and slowly died out. A year or two passes and I begin to think to myself, maybe the problem was with the characters I chose. After all, physical isn't exactly the most fun in Genshin Impact. So I begin to think to myself, let's start a new account, it's going to be free to play, and just focus on the elemental reactions. And for a good amount of time, I'm really enjoying the game. After all, going with the elemental reactions is way more fun than the physical play. But the same thing happens, the hook. It's just not there. The initial gameplay is fun, but after getting to world level 45 and world level 50, I lose interest. The game loses its fun, it loses its shine, and I sit down and begin to think to myself, what's happening here? So here's what I came up with. Here's why I can't like Genshin Impact. At first I thought maybe it was all this drama, and there is a ton of drama in the Genshin Impact community.
I should be the only motherfucker getting praise in the Genshin community.
I didn't edit Brax out of the photo, it's a different photo.
Are you sure?
It's the same photo.
Okay. And then there's this guy. If you don't know who Tectone is, this is all you need to know about Tectone.
Hey, what's going on?
Honestly, there's too much drama surrounding the game, so I'm not even going to attempt to talk about them all. Otherwise, this would be a 9-hour long video. Although I have to say my favorite drama was when they decided to 1-star a bunch of other games and apps in the Google Play Store because they got Big Baby Rage mad like a bunch of toddlers. Classic. Finally, I realized something. I don't care about anything after Raiden Shogun. I thoroughly enjoyed the game until I finished Inazuma, and the story just falls off. I don't care. I stopped caring about it. The Chasm was fun, but they haven't given me a reason to really care about the story. It's boring. But there's more to it than that. After all, I don't really need to rely on the story as long as the gameplay is good. So let's break that down. The artifacts. I absolutely hate grinding for artifacts and materials. The main reason is that the game locks you into specific days for specific materials. This is a horrible way of doing things, as not only do I have to hoard materials like a madman, but I have to optimize its usage so I don't spread myself thin, all while trying to monitor what day of the week it is that I have to grind what, and it's just, this type of micromanaging is not what I want in a video game. So after a day's work, I sit down and nope, sorry, can't grind this character because today's not a Tuesday. It's almost like the devs want this to be a secondary job that you have to manage, and I am not about it. Take a game like Wuthering Waves. Within the span of a few days, I was able to grind out complete sets for 3 whole characters because the game allows you to do that. Granted, these weren't perfect roles by any means, but what it does do is allow me to play my characters in a way where they feel whole and complete. Now, Wuwa has its own downfalls, but that is a video for a different day. The characters. The characters a lot of times feel incomplete unless you have multiple copies of them. A perfect example of this is Bennett at C1 will function way better than at C0 as an attack buffer. Ganyu feels more fun to play after C6, negating having to constantly wait for a charge shot. She almost plays like a completely different character, but wow, what an investment just to enjoy a character's gameplay. C2 and C6 for Beidou, C6 for Fischl, C6 for Noel, Zhongling C4. Oftentimes, characters feel massively stronger, or they just feel better or more smooth to play with different constellations. Admittedly, the game doesn't really need these big power spikes that the constellations give you, but it is just a massive feels bad in the game when you can only read about what your character can do instead of actually playing what your character can do. And this is exacerbated by characters that unlock like more overworld movement and stuff like that, but we'll talk more about that later in the video. The exploration. The exploration feels slow. There's just no other way to say it. As soon as I played Tower of Fantasy for the first time, Genshin's overworld movement instantly felt bad and outdated. And it's not that the zones and placement is bad, it's mainly because it feels slow. This is made worse by the fact that newer characters have better mobility in the game. The native free-to-play exploration in Genshin just feels slow and tedious. Now let me explain. In most games, especially RPGs, as you level up, as you get more into the game and more into the world, you unlock different modes of travel, which really unlock the way you can explore the world. Genshin has none of this at all. Zero new methods, unless of course you want to pull for the newest character who has a mobility boost that is gatekept behind, you've guessed it, primo currency. Take Mavica for example, or however you say her name. Let's put aside how out of place her motorcycle is within the game, but instead of giving everyone a new mount to play with, a new motorcycle to unlock in the game, you only get it if you get her as a unit. They did this with Chaska as well. Instead of letting everyone zip around and fly around the world in a new fun and meaningful way, nope, you only get it if you want to pay money. Now for the worst part about Genshin Impact. Paimon. Paimon is terrible. Paimon is genuinely the worst thing about Genshin Impact. Let me explain to you just how painful Paimon is. Anytime I'm trying to get into the story, my give a shit meter totally gets obliterated every time Paimon speaks. My character is supposed to be a strong traveler, a godlike being, but since Paimon speaks for my silent character, she becomes the outlet in which the immersion takes place. And this ruins any ability for me to self-insert and get immersed into the story. Because not only is she grating on the ears, she speaks like a small child with a learning disability. Paimon removes any immersion you might have built up in the story by constantly treating you like you're a 4-year-old child who can't comprehend simple words. And this, folks, circles back to why I can't like anything beyond Inazuma. And that is because Inazuma is the time it takes for Paimon to completely strip my will to live. And that's why, no matter how hard I try, I just can't like Genshin Impact. And that's going to be it for today's video, guys. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Make sure to leave me a like if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Genshin Impact. What other games are you playing? So on and so forth. And hopefully, guys, I'll see you in the next one.